me on the show tonight. But first, as always, it's time for the 9 headlines at 9. Alarm bells continue to ring over China's COVID surge. Health Minister Mandavia reviews the COVID situation, urges caution, says COVID is not over yet. India to step up surveillance measures, especially for international travellers. Political face-off after centre writes to Rahul Gandhi and Ashok Gehlot over the Bharat Jodo Yatra, says either adhere to COVID norms or suspend the Yatra. Congress hits back, says attempt to derail the Yatra because the BJP fears its success. No end to politics over the India-China face-off in the Tawang sector. Opposition continues to protest outside Parliament, demands a full discussion on the December 9 clash on the floor of the House. The government has been resistant to any debate in Parliament. Maharashtra-Karnataka border dispute rages on. Bomai government now vows to bring out an assembly resolution on the contentious border issue of Belgavi. Sena MP Sanjay Raut says will enter Karnataka without anyone's permission, calls Maharashtra government weak. Enforcement Directorate names KCR's daughter and TRS MLA K. Kavita in the Delhi liquor scam charge sheet, claims she gave bribes up to 100 crore rupees to AAP for a share in the liquor business. Kavita rejects the charges. Doctors and staff of Delhi's Mohalla clinics claim non-payment of salaries in the last 3 months. AAP points fingers at bureaucrats, claims salaries are being deliberately blocked by the Lieutenant Governor's office. Gujarat High Court sends a notice to owner of Oreva Group, orders Jaisukh Patel to reply in the next hearing. Court also cites technical and procedural lapses by the Oreva Group and the Morbi municipality that led to the tragic bridge collapse at the end of October. Taliban bans university education for women in Afghanistan. The highest level of education most Afghan girls will be able to attend is only grade 6, the final year of primary school. Convicted French serial killer Charles Sobraj will be released after 19 years in prison. The Nepal Supreme Court orders his release and deportation within 15 days. But the breaking headline that we are getting right at the very top tonight, India has decided to ramp up COVID measures amidst global surge in cases. Sources now telling India today random testing of international passengers will begin from today. Sources saying the COVID variant BF7 prevalent in China also detected in India. 3 cases of BF7 COVID variant were detected in Gujarat between July and November, most of them in the month of September. They are also, of course, saying there is no need to panic despite the concern being expressed. So as you're seeing, COVID variant BF7 samples have been detected. International travelers will now be subject to random checking. These are among the steps that will be taken, particularly given the surge that's taken place in China and neighboring and other countries across the world. There will be a return to random testing of international passengers. That's the first step taken. Yesterday, remember, the government had also said that they would increase genome sequencing. Now, amidst the COVID fears, the centre has written to Rahul Gandhi and the Rajasthan Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot, asking them to ensure that COVID norms are followed during the Bharat Jodo Yatra that now comes to the national capital in the next 2 days. Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia has urged Rahul Gandhi to put off the Yatra if COVID norms are not ensured. The Congress hit back today saying why are rules only being applied when their Yatra is on and no action taken when BJP leaders hold rallies in Rajasthan or when the Prime Minister himself held a rally 2 days ago in Tripura. Politics over COVID is our top story.
COVID emergency in China triggers an alert in India. In the middle of this, the centre has sparked off a political firestorm. Union Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia has shot off a letter to Congress MP Rahul Gandhi to follow COVID-appropriate measures. Mandavia quotes a letter from three Rajasthan BJP MPs, PP Chaudhary, Nihal Chand and Deviji Patel, claiming COVID is spreading in the state because of the Yatra. The Health Minister has requested the Congress to ensure all Yatris wear masks and use sanitizers. The government has suggested only vaccinated people be allowed to take part in the Yatra. The letter further adds that the Yatra be put off if adherence to norms cannot be ensured.
मैं भारत सरकार का हेल्थ मिनिस्टर होने के नाते मेरा दायित्व है कि देश में कोविड ना फैले, देश के सभी नागरिक स्वस्थ रहे, लेकिन कोई खास फैमिली के प्रोटेक्शन में आके एक देश के हेल्थ मिनिस्टर अपना दायित्व अदा करता हो, कोविड प्रोटोकॉल का पालन करके कोविड ना फैले उसके लिए कोई मार्गदर्शक सूचना जारी करे, तो उसके खिलाफ भी प्रश्न उठाना मैं मानता हूं कि ये मेरे कर्तव्य निर्वहन करने के लिए बाधा रूप है.
The letter did not go down well with the Congress, which asked the Health Minister why he is silent on rallies being held by the BJP.
इस तरह की राजनीति इन्हें नहीं करनी चाहिए. चिट्ठी लिख रहे हो, सबके लिए लिखो. यात्रा वो भी अगर नहीं निकलनी चाहिए, जन आक्रोश यात्रा, अगर भारत जोड़ो यात्रा नहीं निकलनी चाहिए तो भाजपा मान ले कि उनकी जन आक्रोश यात्रा या उनकी किसी भी यात्रा में भीड़ नहीं आ रही, इसलिए उन पर ये लागू नहीं होती चिट्ठी. सिर्फ हम पर इसलिए लागू होती क्योंकि हमारे यहाँ भीड़ बहुत आ रही है. हाँ, हम मानते हैं भीड़ बहुत आ रही है, इसमें कोई शक की बात नहीं है. लोगों का रिस्पांस बहुत जबरदस्त है पूरे भारत में भारत जोड़ो यात्रा पर, लेकिन नियम सबके लिए एक रहने चाहिए, यह सरकार को समझ लेना चाहिए.
सवाल ये खड़ा होता है, क्या एक परिवार सब प्रोटोकॉल से ऊपर है? ये तो मैं मान सकता हूं कि आज भी गांधी परिवार में कांग्रेस के राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष को ज़्यादा एक परिवार को मान्यता मिलती है, लेकिन देश का प्रोटोकॉल, कोविड का प्रोटोकॉल तो उनको फॉलो करना पड़ेगा.
The centre's letter to the Congress comes at a time when all restrictions are lifted. Air, road and train traffic have reached pre-pandemic level. So the question arises, is the government considering bringing earlier travel curbs back? With Paulami Saha in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
So let's straight go to our political face-off. Is the Modi government targeting Rahul Gandhi's Yatra? Should COVID norms apply to all parties, all yatras, all rallies? Is the COVID fight now once again in danger of getting caught in politics? Sanju Verma is the BJP spokesperson. Supriya Srinath is the chief of the Congress's social media team and Congress spokesperson. Appreciate both of you joining us. Supriya Srinath, to you first. I want to understand, is the Congress party's objection to the letter written by Mansukh Mandavia asking you, urging you to observe COVID protocol during the Bharat Jodo Yatra, or because you believe that you are being singled out? Let's get this very clear. COVID demands certain protocols when you're in large gatherings. If the Home Health Minister is reiterating that, what's the problem?
So thank you very much for having me on your show, and we do hope that each one of us stays safe. There are two things that I want to say upfront, because I think viewers need to know the real picture and the full picture. This letter written by the Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia is not something that elicits from him. This letter is based on a letter that he received from the Rajasthan BJP MP PP Chaudhary. And remember, Rajasthan is where the Yatra was, and which is why a copy was also sent to the state's Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot ji. So truth be told, this letter actually emanates from a letter that was written by a BJP MP in Rajasthan who has no issues with a certain Padyatra that their own chief, Mr. Punia, Satish Punia, is doing, who has no issues with a rally that the Prime Minister, addressed in Tripura 2 days back. This actually tells us that the BJP is rattled. The BJP is rattled with the Bharat Jodo Yatra. You look at the kind of fake news that is being spread. You look at the fake narrative that they're trying to set, and this is one such narrative again. Having said that, Please remember 2020 and 2021, and also remember at a time when COVID was peaking in this country, the Prime Minister was too busy toppling a democratically elected government and organizing Namaste Trump. We are not reckless people. We cautioned the Prime Minister then, we will take every adequate precaution, but I do want to say that a party which authorizes its social media head to tweet a fake video of Rahul Gandhi alleging that somebody else was tying his shoelace, whereas it is now amply clear that no, Jitendra Singh Alwar was tying his own shoelace. I want to ask, will the party apologize for this fake news? Will the party's president apologize? Will the Prime Minister who's authorized this guy apologize? No, they will not, because that is how they function. They are rattled by the Bharat Jodo Yatra, and there is no other reason why that letter has been written. Because that letter should actually go to several other quarters, including social and religious events that are being held.
No, I want to understand.
But those letters are not going there.
Supriya Shrinet, I want to therefore understand, are you saying that if a similar letter is written to all parties, then you will accept that COVID protocols have to be maintained and maybe the yatra has to be suspended if you cannot maintain them? Am I clear? Whether it's on masking, vaccination, social distancing, are you very clear about that? If tomorrow it turns out that the BJP or the health minister rather writes to the BJP leadership in Rajasthan, says no rallies for the next 15 days, are you very clear then that the Bharat Jodo Yatra will also be suspended?
No, Rajdeep, this is not just about a letter. Absolutely, we will agree with every protocol. But I think as a citizen of this country, I want to ask my government, what is the situation on COVID? Because we were told till a week back by the same BJP people that we had won the war against COVID. There was no issue. You were actually, if you actually sit on a plane today, you don't even need to wear a mask. No protocols necessary. Everything else has been suspended. So I think the question that one would ask is, when there is no protocol anywhere else, the government has to actually come out in the open and clarify that is there a COVID problem looming large? Are there new protocols?
Okay.
Are there new protocols? If there are no new protocols or laws and regulations, why should we be signed out? I think that's a very valid argument that I'm making.
Let me take that.
Is the government worried about COVID? And if they are they making new protocols?
Rajdeep Sardesai, may I come into the debate or should I walk out?
1 minute, ma'am.
May I come into the debate or should I walk out?
I would really want to know that.
Okay, let Sanju Verma, who is getting a little hot under the collar. No, let her respond. Sanju Verma, you know, the health minister, no, just a minute, ma'am. The health minister writes a letter to Rahul Gandhi urging him to observe COVID protocols, cautioning him about the yatra. There is a Jan Akrosh Yatra going on in Rajasthan of the BJP. No such letter seems to have been written to your BJP leader there, Satish Punia. The Prime Minister, no less, addressed a large rally in Tripura, where clearly there was no social distancing or no COVID protocols. Those are some of the images we are showing of the Jan Akrosh Yatra of the BJP. How is it that only the Congress, the Bharat Jodo Yatra, suddenly is singled out to observe COVID protocols, while other rallies or BJP-led yatras do not seem to face the same concerns? Are we saying that COVID is only following the Congress party?
Rajdeep, that was such a lengthy question, and I have seen you've given the earlier panelist a full 8 minutes.
Not 8 minutes, 4 minutes.
I just need 5 minutes. I need 5 minutes because I know you're not going to give me the same amount of time. I need 5 minutes to nail the bluff of the Congress. First and foremost, what has Mansukh Mandavia said? Has he asked the Congress to abdicate its Bharat Jodo Yatra? No. It simply said you need to follow COVID protocol, failing which, since this is a public health emergency, the Bharat Jodo Yatra will have to be disbanded. There is a very clear demarcation that protocol needs to be followed, and if Rahul Gandhi is a responsible citizen, which is what he claims he is, then why the halablu? Let him follow the COVID protocol and carry on with his yatra. Second point, you know, this whole narrative about Pradhan Mantri was in Gujarat, Pradhan Mantri was in Tripura. Rajdeep, don't mind. Do you remember in 2021, ahead of the West Bengal Assembly elections, it was held in 8 phases. There was a huge hue and cry in the media. Why is BJP still campaigning at the height of the COVID second wave? BJP, taking the moral high ground, decided not to have public campaigns in the last 3 phases of the West Bengal polls. Did Trinamool Congress follow suit? No. Did the Congress follow suit? No. But Rajdeep Sardesai never had a debate on that. He was busy having rasgullas given to him by Mamata Banerjee, which is a different matter altogether.
No. You are now mixing issues. Please do not resort to personal
No,
attack.
let me finish.
Ma'am. You must first be very clear. Please do not spread fake news to the audiences. Remember, even while COVID cases were climbing, no, just a minute. Even while COVID cases were climbing, the Prime Minister was holding rallies during the Bengal elections, and that was COVID 2.0, which was far more serious. Now go ahead.
Are you the anchor or the panelist?
I am the anchor and I will ask you questions. I will ask you questions unlike other anchors.
You will ask Rajdeep Sardesai, can I tell you something? You know, instead of Mansukh Mandavia, if the roles had been reversed and there was a Bharat Jodo Yatra by somebody from the BJP, what would have been the headline of Rajdeep Sardesai? BJP, appeasing voters. BJP fails to check COVID. BJP netas don't give even a wee bit of attention to the welfare of our citizens. These would have been the screaming
Ma'am, you're not
headlines.
answering my simple question. Why is no directive being sent to all parties? Should the
Let
BJP
me
not
come to
also
that.
get directives? Yes or no? Simple question.
Let me come. No. You don't give me these ultimatums. The debate was not on fake news, which Supriya Srinath started talking about. And let me tell Supriya Srinath, first your Rahul Gandhi kept saying Chaukidar chor hai. Chaukidar chor hai. He is so shameless, even after Supreme Court telling him do not use that language. This man continued. Meenakshi Lekhi had to file a PIL. Tab jaake aapke Rahul
Ma'am,
Baba
can you answer my question, please?
said,
Can you
"Haan,
answer
mujhe
my
maaf
question?
kar dijiye."
Is there a
So stop
directive for
talking
all
about fake
gatherings?
news.
Ma'am, just a minute. Is there a directive for all gatherings or only for Bharat? No, Supriya Srinath, 1 minute.
Sanju
No. Supriya Srinath, 1 minute.
अरे भैया गाली वाली मैडम चुप हो जाओ
Ma'am,
भौंकना आपका काम है गाली वाली मैडम चुप हो जाओ
ma'am, I'm asking you a question. Will you answer it, Sanju Verma? Is the directive
Yes,
for all
okay.
parties or only the Bharat Jodo Yatra?
Okay.
Then I'll come to Supriya till then Supriya's voice to be
that's a
lowered.
very important question.
Please
let
answer
me
it.
answer now.
Please answer it.
Rajdeep, that's a very important question. Let's be very clear. Without getting into tutu meme, COVID protocols will have to be followed by all parties, irrespective of Gandhis, non-Gandhis, Khadges, whosoever it may be. Alerts have already been issued on,
Why have no letters been written to Mr. Satish Punia? Why have no letters been written to Satish Punia? Why were no letters written before the Tripura rally of the Prime Minister?
You are not a Congress.
No, you're not answering my questions. When you don't answer my questions, I will ask you.
Facts. Rajdeep, can I finish? What's your problem in life? Can you sometimes at least pretend to be an anchor rather than being a Congress spokesperson? Thank you so much.
No. Don't
Rajdeep,
make
let
these
me finish.
absurd allegations. You don't like being asked questions.
the problem
You're
with
too
you is,
used to
Rajdeep,
anchors who don't ask you questions. I asked you a simple question.
आप शर्म करिए कभी तो एंकर बन जाइए थोड़ी
Are
तो
you going
शर्म
to answer
करिए
the
कभी तो
question?
एंकर बन जाइए
Are you
भाई
going to
साहब।
answer the question or
कभी
not?
तो एंकर I said I'm answering you're going on
Please
heckling
answer.
me
Please answer
yes
it.
stop heckling thank you. Will the COVID protocols apply to everybody across the board, cutting aside political, ideological differences? Yes. Have COVID alerts been issued? Yes. On a random basis, COVID positive persons, their samples will be sent for genome sequencing. We've already started that in Maharashtra. Bengaluru and Delhi airports have been sounded off in terms of, alerts for any kind of incoming international passengers, not just Chinese passengers. I just want to say one thing, a lot has been said, Rajdeep, in 30 seconds, that, the BJP failed, Prime Minister Modi failed. Do I believe Rahul Gandhi? Is he a health expert? Is he an epidemiologist? Is he an immunologist? Is he a health worker, a frontline worker? No. Do I believe David Malpass, the head of World Bank? Do I believe Chief Economist Geeta Gopinath? Do I believe UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres? Do I believe Bill Gates? Yes. What did they all say? India under Narendra Modi is a textbook case of how one of the world's largest and fastest vaccination drives was carried out in a brilliant manner. Do we need a certificate from Rahul Gandhi? No, we don't.
Okay,
Who is
you
he?
made your 30 seconds
Who
are
is
up.
he?
Your 30 seconds are up. Your 5 minutes are up. Producer, now we move to Supriya Srinath. There will be no crosstalk. Supriya Srinath, let's be clear. As we've seen in the past, both in 2020 and 2021, precaution is the way forward. if the health minister is sending you a precautionary note, accept it, ensure COVID protocols are carried out and carry on with your yatra. That's what is being suggested.
So two things before I go any further. IMF and World Bank are being vouched for here. IMF and World Bank should also be believed when they downgrade your growth 3 to 4 times in a single financial year. 3 to 4 times is how IMF and World Bank has downgraded India's growth. I hope it will also be vouched for. So this selective outrage on one hand and not on the other, not acceptable. I'm all for protocol being followed, but this is what I'm asking. Has my government, has the Indian government issued a COVID protocol? There was none issued till I sat on this show. Has the Indian government told the public that there is a renewed threat of COVID and they need to wear masks in public, or there could be a lockdown, or schools could be shut down, or lesser people need to be in markets? I don't see any protocol. I don't see any notices. I see no information given to the public. So this tutu meme between the Congress and the BJP is not going to ensure that our citizens stay safe. You can have selective outrage against the Congress, but please take the citizens into confidence and don't have the Tughlaqi Farman lockdowns that you've had the last time around.
Okay.
And let me tell you, you may not believe Rahul Gandhi, but Rahul Gandhi way back in Feb 2020 warned you that a tsunami of COVID is coming. तब आप नमस्ते ट्रंप करा रहे थे और मध्य प्रदेश की चुनी हुई सरकार गिरा रहे थे. तो यहां पर आकर प्रिटेंड मत करिए. जब वैक्सीन बनानी थी तो दीदी कर रहे थे बंगाल में. Do not come and pretend here.
Okay.
You are here to do a job.
Can I?
That job is to ensure safety of citizens. I'm all for following protocols if my government announces them. And if it applies to everybody across party lines, we have no objections whatsoever to follow protocols.
Okay.
And we will. We are far more responsible than the reckless BJP goons.
So therefore, I will ask you one last time, Sanju Verma, can you please tell me, airports are overcrowded, masks have been made optional in these places, New Year party is no restriction, we are having G20 delegates and various meetings that are going to be held over the next few weeks. We've just come out from one election campaign, we are going to go into another in the Northeast. Are there any COVID protocols? Or is it that Mansukh Mandavia suddenly woke up this morning and decided to write to Rahul Gandhi based on what a BJP MP from Rajasthan told him? I ask you again, where is the letter? Can you show me a letter that is written to Satish Punia, who's also carrying out a yatra in the same Rajasthan? That's where
Rajdeep,
we all want COVID protocols, but they must be for all.
may I come in, Rajdeep Sardesai?
Yes,
you did not allow me to heckle her. No, I need my time.
Please show me the
Thank you,
letter.
Rajdeep.
Please show me the letter.
Rajdeep, can I please finish? Rajdeep, please don't heckle me. Very humbly, I am saying that. COVID is a dynamically evolving situation, and Rajdeep Sardesai and Congress goons know that as much. Because Supriya Srinath and BJP goons, so your Rahul Gandhi, Pappu ki chamchi, please don't use uncouth language, though that is expecting too much from you. Now, let me tell you one thing. Since COVID is a dynamically evolving situation, the government will keep abreast of what is happening and likewise inform citizens. N.K. Arora, who's the head of NTAGI, which monitors COVID on a war footing on a day-to-day basis, he actually said, Rajdeep, that we need to be vigilant. We need to be careful.
He said,
We do
don't
not
panic.
need to be fearful.
He told me he was on
We
my
do
show
not need
last
to be
night.
fearful.
I am
We
glad
need to
you
be
used
careful.
Dr. Arora. He
And
was
the
on my
BJP
show
is
last
asking
night.
Rahul Gandhi
He
to
said
be
there is no
careful
need
like
to
a
panic.
responsible citizen.
He said there is
Rahul,
no
can
need
you
to
please
panic.
stop
No,
heckling?
ma'am.
Can you stop heckling?
Producer, can you bring that
Hi,
voice down?
sir.
I want to tell our viewers, Dr. Arora was on our show last night, Ms. Sanju Verma. He said there is absolutely no need to panic. It's one thing being vigilant. There is no need to panic. This letter suggests sudden panic. Where are the COVID protocols for all citizens?
I want to come in on that. But you know, the problem, Rajdeep, is that you're so like an eager kindergarten kid. You're so enthusiastic when it comes to, haggling with Sanju Verma. You forget that you're an anchor. Let me just say one thing. You know, दीदी और दीदी पर आप बोलते हो, आपके राहुल गांधी की धज्जियां सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने उड़ाई थी. चौकीदार चोर है. याद है 2019 में मुंह की खानी पड़ी. 2014 में मुंह की खानी
Ma'am,
पड़ी.
you're not, I'm not interested in the past.
Let me just say
No, 1 minute. Producer, bring down the volume. I will ask you one last time. Can you tell me, Sanju Verma, what are the COVID protocols that have been put in place for airline passengers, for New Year parties, for G20 delegates? Can you tell me? Can you show me one piece of letter with clear COVID protocols, yes or no?
To the leadership of Narendra Modi. Rajdeep, just tell me one thing. Do you know more than the current epidemiologists in India? Are you a health worker? Are you a doctor? Are you in government? Will you decide the COVID protocol? Rajdeep Sardesai, do you agree? You first answer one question. Do you agree Narendra Modi's government brilliantly managed the world's largest and fastest vaccination drive? Will you agree to that? Will you agree to that as a journalist? We managed in just 18 months to give more than 200 crore doses, which covered the entire adult population.
I asked you a question. I asked you a question. Can you show me the... Ma'am, I didn't... Mr. Modi and the government certainly deserve a lot of praise for various aspects of the way COVID was tackled. But you're not answering my question. Where is the COVID protocol for holiday season? I'm going to leave it there. Okay. Okay. Supriya Srinath, Sanju Verma, life as a news anchor. My blood pressure keeps going up at times like this. Thank you both very much for joining us. If you know a doctor to handle blood pressure, do let me know. But I still want to focus on COVID protocols, and I'm going to come to expert doctors in a moment. But because remember, as COVID cases in China are spreading, the center has decided that genome sequencing at airports will take place. States have been asked to ramp up testing. But given the fact that COVID is wreaking havoc in China once again, are the measures enough? Should any flight that in any way comes from China, whether from China to Hong Kong, be suspended? Remember, there are no direct flights from China. What should be the protocol? Take a look.
China's worst COVID nightmare once again threatens the world. A runaway rise in infections with over 1 million deaths predicted this year. Here in India, even as the government goes into a huddle to plan ahead for any possible impact, one of the first demands going up is for an immediate flight ban with China.
इस परिस्थिति में मैंने ये मांग की है कि सबसे पहले हमको चीन से जो हवाई जहाज आ रहे हैं या चीन जा रहे हैं उनके ऊपर रोक लगानी चाहिए.
India currently has no direct flights with China, but several flights with stopovers in Hong Kong and countries like Singapore, South Korea and Vietnam. For the moment, there's no change in China-specific flight guidelines.
There is no decision with regard to any change in the aviation guidelines as of now.
Traditional direct flights between the big cities of both countries have been off the table since the beginning of the pandemic in 2020. And while they've always been unlikely to resume anytime soon, China's knee-jerk cancellation of flight routes when even a single passenger tests positive, now the possibility of a total Indian ban could be looming. Before the current Chinese COVID crisis exploded, India and China had been in discussions to resume at least limited direct flights. But that seems a very far cry now. According to a survey done by community social media pollster Local Circle, 87% of Indians surveyed want a total shutdown of all flights, including non-direct flights between India and China. 71% want mandatory quarantine for all passengers who've been to China in the last 2 weeks. Given what India faced thanks to inbound passengers from China in the early days of the pandemic, the nervousness is writ large in large sections of the public wanting blanket bans on flights. The question is, could things reach a pass where the government changes its mind and stops all flights to and from China? Bureau Report, India Today.
So before we come to the doctors, let's just look at the daily COVID cases. In India, December 14, 200. December 15 came down to 162. December 16, 167. December 17, 176. December 18, 135. December 12, 112. December 20th, 131. This is effectively suggesting actually that COVID is completely under control for now in the country. Daily COVID deaths, December 14, 5, December 15, none. December 16, 4, December 17, 5, December 18, 2, December 19, 3, December 20th, 3. So effectively, it appears from the last week's data that COVID appears under control. But can we really be complacent? What should be the protocols? Dr. Hemant Thakkar, consultant physician and someone who's been tracking COVID for us from Mumbai, joins us. Dr. Vishal Rao is member of the Genome Surveillance Committee, Karnataka, with us. But first, you, Dr. Thakkar, do you believe that we need to bring back COVID protocols, particularly masking, social distancing, given what's happening in China, or would that be a panic reaction? Because for now, even at airports, masking is optional.
So definitely there is a huge surge in China, which is spilling over into Korea, Japan, Singapore. Even the US and Brazil are reporting numbers. The fact remains that an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. So I would say, at least in public places, what the health minister has egged on today is that people should be vigilant. And if you ask me, I tell all my patients that there's no harm in wearing the mask at public places because it's not COVID alone. It's the RSV virus, H1N1 virus, pollution-induced all the throat problems. All that would be looked after. I'm not asking you to put a stop to the New Year parties or don't go out. But if you have large groups, airports, exhibitions, conglomerated parties, you might want to think twice. Because China is the one where the epicenter was last time, and China is again the epicenter. Because if you do what you did, you will get what you got.
No, but let me get this very clear, Dr. Thakkar. Are you calling for a return to COVID protocols that existed in 2020 December and 2021 December?
I am not calling for any compulsory protocol. I'm only asking for vigilance. People who are in the know of the matter will say better to mask than to unmask and walk with flagrant carelessness. Because the mask helps you in all the respiratory viruses. And this direct flight not being there doesn't mean anything, because you can get the Chinese virus. You see, there's a COVID variant which is going around, and COVID variants are going to abound. I am not pressing the alarm bell. I'm not telling anybody that we will have strict protocols. But in order not to return to those protocols, we have to be a little careful. We have to be a little, shrug off this complacency and wear masks at public places, especially airports and stations, and you will remain protected. The vaccination program in our country has been so stupendously successful. And the Delta has gone and vaccinated the whole population, which China did not do with their zero COVID policy. So China decided to strangle the virus. And this virus doesn't get strangled. It went from place to place every time you strangled it, and it became stronger. On the contrary, when you have a great spread of the virus, which happened in India, the virulence goes down. So the immunity and herd immunity is phenomenal, along with this vaccination immunity.
So given that, Dr. Vishal Rao, do you believe that some of the responses at the moment suggest panic? That when I showed those numbers, it appears COVID is completely under control. By contrast, of course, there's this surge in China. Should we, as Dr. Thakkar is suggesting, just be vigilant rather than impose forcibly any protocols at this stage? Because I asked the politician, there is no formal letter imposing fresh protocols. What, therefore, should India do at the moment?
Thank you, Rajdeep. First of all, I would not want to sound like a pandemic alarmist every time I appear on the show. But I think the global trends that we are seeing today obviously seems to be seeing a surge in many of the Omicron variants. Now, if you look at the variants of interest, it has been the XBB, the 2.75 and the BQ1. There are couple of ones which are being closely monitored. But the BF7, the current one that's being talked about in China, is simply a variant that needs monitoring. There does not seem to be a need to hit the panic button. Now, China has been in this position for various reasons. One of the things is the stringent policies. The second thing people are discussing about the inactive vaccines that they've used because of vaccine nationalism. So there are various factors that China is going through this entire surge right now. And while India has accepted a larger aspect of accepting endemicity, another important aspect that we need to know about Omicron is that it lacks the temperance pathway protein, so it doesn't affect the lungs too much. So we are not looking at a scenario like Delta. We are looking at a scenario here where there is going to be some amount of infectivity, which is what globally they are talking about, but they're not talking about death tolls, hospitalization. So this should not send out a panic wave to the citizens. But this definitely is an important aspect to highlight on one important point, that the war is far from over. There are two important points that have come out of the evolving discussions of late among the scientific world. One is that the virus continues to create recombinants. That means two variants go inside the cell and come up with a third variant. And second is something called as antibody-enhanced disease. We have to remember here that the vaccines that we have used are of the D614G, the Wuhan variant, which was the first variant, the first version. Now, if I'm talking about it like in a simple analogy, it's like I'm saying I'm using the iPhone 1, but the iPhone 14 is out there. So the versions of the virus are very rapidly changing. So it's very important that, like the way we followed up in flu, that every 2 years we will need a new vaccine in endemicity, we eventually will move towards the same part of endemicity where every couple of years we'll require a completely new version of the vaccine. And until that time, precaution is mandatory and needs to be followed.
Are you suggesting that we suppose someone like me has taken a booster 6 months ago, are you suggesting a fresh booster dose?
Absolutely no. In fact, there is enough of studies that show that increasing the booster does not improve the immunity. And I think Israel is a classic example when they went for the fourth dose, or even the complications that the mRNAs are witnessing in USA because of myocarditis and other things.
Right.
So I think overdoing the vaccine is the wrong way. I think allowing the virus its natural course while we take precautions would be a more logical path.
You know, given that, Dr. Thakkar, therefore, in conclusion, what is being suggested is be cautious, don't be complacent, but clearly this is not a moment to, in a way, abandon your saying the path that we have taken over the last few months, where we are going into large gatherings, we are carrying out large gatherings. Am I correct in saying that we can continue now with the way of life that we have had over the last 6 months? We don't need to put a red flag just yet.
I agree with you. Continue life as you've been leading. But this last bit that we have, that you can go to malls and airports without masks, maybe voluntarily let common sense get the better of you, get prevention, get the better of you, and wear masks in these large gatherings. Enjoy Christmas, enjoy New Year. Remember, this virus is a serpent. And like last time, it can slither in and give you unnecessarily trouble.
Okay.
It's not going to take your life away, but it's an irritant, and you do not want to flirt with this irritant. So be careful. That's all I'll say for the moment, until we have more genome sequencing and until we have other policies coming in, made in China. So keep away from all the flights of China and other people who have been there. That's all my messages.
Okay, let's leave it there, Dr. Thakkar. I'm sure we'll come back to you with more as the situation evolves. Dr. Rao, Dr. Thakkar, I appreciate, as always, expert voices. So much better to listen to you all at times than politicians fighting with each other. Let's turn to our Get Real India story. While we are focusing on public health, Mohalla clinics that were seen in the national capital to become a game changer, allowing people to go to their neighborhood clinics are facing now a grave danger because doctors working there haven't been paid for the last 3 months. Not only this, all tests have been discontinued at many of these clinics, and there is an acute shortage of medicines. Tonight's Get Real India story on the Mohalla clinics.
Clinics, the flagship initiative of the Aam Aadmi Party government in Delhi. The primary healthcare centers that provide free medical treatment also play a key role in medical emergencies like COVID. But here is a shocker. The staff who work at Mohalla clinics, including doctors, are not being paid their salaries for the last few months.
और सैलरी सर दो महीना पहले तक तो बिल्कुल सैलरी रेगुलर आता था। जब से इलेक्शन हुआ था तो उसके बाद से सैलरी नहीं आई है, तो 2 महीने का ड्यू है।
At the Malkaganj Mohalla clinic, the staff claim they face this situation multiple times in a year.
This is the 3rd month. 3 महीने आज पूरे हो गए हैं कल।
अच्छा।
नहीं मिली है, बीच बीच में होता रहता है, साल में 2-3 बार ऐसे हो जाता है, फिर मिल जाती है अल्टीमेटली।
The poor are dependent on the Mohalla clinics for another big reason. Many tests are free of cost here.
यहाँ मिल रही है दवाइयाँ, अभी मैं लेने जा रही हूँ।
Yashoda, who has come to Paharganj to get tests done, says the services are not available anymore.
अभी तो मेरे को ये पैरों के दर्द का नसों की प्रॉब्लम हुई है, मुझे उसके लिए पेन लिया दवाई। और मुझे थायराइड है, अभी टेस्ट बंद है, 1 तारीख को बोले हैं।
टेस्ट जो है मोहल्ला क्लिनिक में 2 महीने से टेस्ट बंद है। इसका रीजन ऊपर ऑफिशियल होगा, मुझे ऑफिस से ऑर्डर आया था कि आप जो है क्या कहते हैं 2 महीने तक टेस्ट बंद रहेगा। मोस्ट क्या कहते हैं वो है पॉसिबिलिटी है कि जनवरी से 1 जनवरी से शायद टेस्ट शुरू हो जाए।
The situation is the same at many Mohalla clinics.
ये बच्चों की दवाई लेने आए और यहाँ पर बढ़िया दवाई मिलती है, जब भी आते पूरी दवाई मिलती है, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है यहाँ पे।
हमारे कुछ भी हो जाता है ना, जैसे छोटा मोटा, तो हम यहीं आके दवाई लेते हैं और दवाई से आराम पड़ता है। मैं तो जब भी आई हूँ ना, मुझे तो दवाइयाँ पूरी मिली है।
The Aam Aadmi Party is blaming the bureaucracy for not releasing the funds needed to pay the salaries of Mohalla clinic staff. An assembly committee on Tuesday pulled up senior officers in the finance department.
फाइनेंस डिपार्टमेंट ने कुछ ऐसी डॉक्यूमेंट्स की मांग की जो आज से पहले कभी नहीं मांगे गए। ये काम फाइनेंस डिपार्टमेंट के प्रिंसिपल सेक्रेटरी आशीष चंद्र वर्मा ने किया कि स्वयं हेल्थ डिपार्टमेंट के पास अपना अनस्पेंट 70 करोड़ रुपया मौजूद था, तो पर्याप्त धनराशि होने के बावजूद भी हेल्थ डिपार्टमेंट ने वो पैसा नहीं खर्चा।
अरविंद केजरीवाल को ये मालूम होना चाहिए कि जो फाइनेंस डिपार्टमेंट है वह ट्रांसफर सब्जेक्ट है। दिल्ली के ऑनरेबल एलजी के पास तो फाइल जाती नहीं है। सही बात यह है कि दिल्ली सरकार को इन्होंने कंगाल बना दिया है।
No salary for 3 months. Doctors and other staff at Mohalla clinics are suffering for no fault of theirs. Politics is taking a toll on Aam Aadmi. With Ram Kinkar in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
Get Real India, the stories you won't find on prime time. On the other side, we'll turn to our Good News Today story, and it's a special one because joining us in a moment are two heroes, the captain and the coach of the Indian hockey team that's just won the FIH Nations League Cup. We'll tell you more as we join them. You're with the news today. Good news coming up next.
भैया जी हमला। भैया जी 10 गोलियां ले ले।
गोलियां नहीं रज्जा, गोली।
पर बाहर तो 10 लोग हैं।
10 हो या पूरी बस, अब तो बस 1 है तो डन है। इसको कोई वॉचो वॉच कराओ। जब वॉचो में मिले ढेर सारे ओटीटी ऐप्स एक ही प्लान में, तो हर कोई बोलेगा वॉचो 1 है तो डन है।
वॉचो प्लान स्टार्टिंग एट जस्ट 42 रुपीज पर मंथ। आज ही सब्सक्राइब करें और पाएं सिलेक्ट प्लान्स पर 1 महीना कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री।
News is about putting people first.
Just look at the queues right across. About asking the right questions to those in power. Is money power being used to bring down elected governments? Who will be held accountable for ministerial corruption? It takes no sides. माँ का दर्द एक दर्द कोई नहीं समझ सकता उस दर्द को. It reveals. It heals. Angry people came out on the streets. Is this the kind of justice system we want in this country? News is all heart and no hatred.
बिल्किस बानो आज क्या कहना चाहेंगी आप?
हमारे साथ जो हुआ है किसी के साथ भी नहीं होना चाहिए.
Experience the news. With me, Rajdeep Sardesai, only on India Today. Welcome back to tonight's good news story. The Indian women's hockey team scripted history this weekend by clinching the inaugural edition of the FIH Nations League, which takes them now into the elite league of countries in world hockey. As the triumphant squad traveled back to India, that video that you can see of the team dancing after their victory to the famous Champions track made famous by the West Indian all-rounder Dwayne Bravo, that video has gone viral. This is the celebration of Indian women's sport and our women's hockey team that has really made the nation feel proud. And joining us now are two very special guests, one of the stars of the Indian team, Savita Punia, captain of the women's hockey team, and Janek Shopman, the coach of the women's hockey team. Appreciate both of you joining us. Wonderful to have you on the show. I want to start with you, Savita, क्योंकि एक वीडियो वायरल गया है. There's a video that's gone viral. आप लोग नाच रहे हैं चैंपियन सॉन्ग के लिए. ये कहाँ से शुरू हुआ? How did that start? Everybody is talking about it. Congratulations.
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू सो मच. या डेफिनेटली कि जब मैच जैसे विन किया था उसके बाद जो सेलिब्रेशन ग्राउंड में था वो तो था, बट उसके बाद में हमारे कोच ने बताया कि ओके ठीक है, बट तुम इस सॉन्ग को, इवन उन्होंने हमारे साथ कि हमें वो गाना बोला भी, उन्होंने खुद ने सुनाया कि आप इसको नेक्स्ट टाइम, ये भी तुम्हारा एक तरफ से होमवर्क है, सबको आना चाहिए. तो गाना कोच ने प्ले करवाया था और सबने उसको बहुत एंजॉय किया, क्योंकि सबके अंदर वो एक सेलिब्रेशन तो चल ही रहा था और उस जब वो प्ले हुआ तो डेफिनेटली एक अलग सी ही एनर्जी थी सब में.
ये गाना या नाचना दोनों, कोच ने कहा कि गाना भी गाओ और नाचो भी, क्योंकि ये ड्वेन ब्रावो वेस्ट इंडियन क्रिकेटर का गाना है चैंपियंस, तो उसी तरह से आप डांस कर रहे हैं.
राइट, डेफिनेटली, क्योंकि नाचना तो शायद आपने पहले भी जब कॉमनवेल्थ में भी थे तब मेडल आया तब भी आपने वो एक वीडियो वायरल हुआ था, चेंजिंग रूम में सब डांस कर रहे हैं. वो तो हमारी टीम में है 2-3 प्लेयर्स हैं, नवनीत है, नेहा है, तो ये तो बस ऐसा टाइम वेट करते हैं कि कब मौका मिले और कब डांस स्टार्ट करें. तो वो
so you're not only good hockey players, you're also good dancers, certainly. I don't know how good your Hindi is, Janek, but they seem to be suggesting that you encourage them to do this, to dance and sing to the song. Is that true, Janek?
Well, it's sort of true because, well, you know, if you win, you have to celebrate, right? And they played the song at the podium, and I know that song very well. We are the champions from Queen, and they weren't singing it, and they said, we don't know this song. So then I encouraged them in the bus, and when we got to the hotel, well, you tell me then, what is the song you play in India when you win? And then they started playing their songs and dancing, and that was amazing. So I really enjoyed that.
Is that something that you believe as a coach is necessary to allow the players to express themselves, particularly after winning? It's not just enough to celebrate in the privacy of your room, but also make it a public event in a way.
Oh, I think so. I mean, I think when you win, you're happy, and I said you need to be proud of it. It's not often that you win, and you need to celebrate and enjoy that together. And I think that's very important because you worked very hard for it. So, yeah, I said to them, wear your gold medal and be proud of it, and enjoy and celebrate and be together for it, because these moments go by very quickly. So, I think it's very special, and I really enjoyed their joy, and of course I was a little bit part of it, but it's great to see them so happy, and they deserve it.
I'm not seeing you dancing though in the video. I'm looking for you, Janek. Are you also dancing or not?
Well, you can ask. I'm not the biggest fan of dancing. I'm like more singing, but I think there is one video I'm dancing a little bit, but no, I'm definitely, I will give the spotlight to the girls. They're a lot better dancers than me. My rhythm is not so good.
सविता, ये वीडियो निकाला किसने? एक तो है वीडियो, कोई और आपके जो मैनेजर थे, किसी ने ये वीडियो किसने निकाला है?
जब हम स्टार्टिंग में जब होटल में एंटर कर रहे थे, क्योंकि ये बस से, जैसे यान ने अभी बताया कि ओके आपको और भी सेलिब्रेट करना चाहिए, तो हमने बोला हमें नहीं पता कि कौन सा गाना। देन वो बोलते कि ओके कोई हिंदी म्यूजिक है, तो दिल है हिंदुस्तानी और ये सब थे सॉन्ग्स जिस पे बस में हमने डांस किया, प्लेयर्स ने डांस किया। बट जब होटल में आ रहे थे तो ऑलरेडी यान का ही था कि यान, जब हम अंदर एंटर किया तो यान के हाथ में फ़ोन था, और बस हमारे पास स्पीकर रहता है हमेशा जब भी हम ट्रेनिंग पे जाते हैं या मैच खेलने जाते हैं, तो हमेशा बस में गाने ज़रूर चलते हैं हमारे साथ, या चेंजिंग रूम में होते हैं। तो वही था कि सब एक वो मोमेंट ऐसा था ना कि किसी को कुछ नहीं पता था कि ओके, सबको ये था कि हाँ, जो हम इस टूर्नामेंट में आए थे, जो हमारा गोल था, जो एक इस टूर्नामेंट को लेके ड्रीम था, वो फुलफिल हुआ है। तो बट हाँ, ये जरूर मैंने देखा जब हम एंटर किया तो यान के हाथ में फोन था, यान वो वीडियो बना रही थी।
So Yan is the maker of the video. You're a good, you know how to make a video, Yan. That clearly is not easy to hold a steady camera and ensure that you capture all those emotions.
No, yeah. I like to be behind the camera, not in front, if I can help it.
Savita, Paris Olympics जीतना है क्या? मेडल लेकर आना है Olympics? Is that the next goal? इस बार देश को रुलाना नहीं नंबर 4 आके.
नहीं सर, डेफिनेटली हमारे कोशिश यही रहेगी, क्योंकि हम उसी चीज के लिए इतना हार्ड वर्क करते हैं और फुल ऑफ डेडिकेशन के साथ ट्रेनिंग कर रहे हैं। बट हमने अपने जो भी पास में जो टूर्नामेंट्स रहे हैं उनसे यही सीखा है कि हमें सिर्फ मैच बाय मैच जाना है और अपनी ट्रेनिंग पे ट्रस्ट रखना है, प्रोसेस पे ट्रस्ट रखना है, और परफॉर्मेंस हमारे लिए ज्यादा मैटर रखता है कि अगर परफॉर्मेंस अच्छा होगा तो ऑटोमेटिकली रिजल्ट भी अच्छा आएगा, और अपनी तरफ से बेस्ट करेंगे।
मैं आखिर में आपसे पूछूंगा, सपोज आई सिंग द सॉन्ग चैंपियंस, आप गाना गाएंगी या नाचना चाहेंगी? व्हाट इज इट योर फेवरेट? आपका फेवरेट गाना हमें गाइए। व्हाट इज योर फेवरेट सॉन्ग सविता?
आई थिंक मैं टीम में एक ऐसी पर्सन हूँ जो ना मुझे ज्यादा शायद सॉन्ग गाने आते हैं और ना ही मुझे डांस आता है। मैं दोनों ही चीजों में अपनी टीम को जितने अच्छे से वो सेलिब्रेट करते हैं, उनको एंजॉय करते हुए देख के मुझे एक सुकून मिलता है, और वो पूरी टीम को पता है। समटाइम्स ऐसा होता है कि कोई इंपॉर्टेंट मैच होता है तो वो इम्पोर्टेंट लाइक कोई भी मैच है, सेमीफाइनल है, क्वार्टर फाइनल है, या पोजीशन वाला कोई भी मैच है, तो उस टाइम पे जैसे हमारी टीम में काफी प्लेयर्स हैं जो डांस करते हैं, तो उनको देख के मुझे वो रिलैक्सेशन मिलता है कि हाँ, तो मैं आपके दोनों ही चीजों में शायद
ओके, तो आप नाचेगी ना? आप हमें अपना फेवरेट गाना नहीं सुनाएगी? Yannick, what's going to be the celebration next time? What have you decided? This time it was to Dwayne Bravo's song. What's it going to be next time if they win again a big tournament?
I always think I'm very superstitious, so I'm never busy with that. I think it's just how it happens, and I think that was what happening this time, and that's what made it genuine. I think nothing was planned; it just organically happened in the bus. It organically happened after, and the dancing, and it's just this pure joy that happens because it's coming from your heart and it's coming something you're experiencing together. So I think for me, I hope we can celebrate again, and that's of course what we want at the Asian Games. And how we celebrate, I really don't care. I just hope we get the opportunity to do it again, and that's my main objective. And then we'll see if it's crazy. It's crazy. Fine by me. But before that, we first have to do the work.
The fact is that this weekend, the world's attention was in a way on the World Cup, and Argentina won it. But I want to tell you, Savita and Yannick and the entire Indian women's hockey team, you made us very proud. And therefore, for us as Indians, this is a great moment to see Indian women's hockey going from strength to strength. I hope you win the Asian Games and you come back with a medal at the Olympics. More power to you, more singing, more dancing, more viral videos. Thank you both very much for joining me here on this special show. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Nice to end the show with a story that puts a smile on the face. Thanks for watching. Stay well, stay safe. Good night. Shubhratri. Jai Hind. Namaskar.
Saif Ali Khan and Amrita Singh's son Ibrahim Ali Khan is all set to debut as an actor after assisting Karan Johar on his next Rocky Aur Rani Ki Prem Kahani. He has reportedly been roped in to play an important role in the Hindi remake of Ridyam. The making rights of the same have been backed by Karan Johar.
അത്രയ്ക്ക് ഇഷ്ടമാണ് എനിക്ക് അവനെ ചേച്ചി അവൻ മൊത്തമാണ്
Meanwhile, visuals of Ibrahim partying, going out with friends, or just making red carpet appearances keep surfacing online.